gonna add these onto the Mark playlist, maybe the final session, but these are more so that the other teachers could listen on YouTube to whatever insights we get from today to apply for next Saturday. So, yeah, I'll give a short summary of the background. Mark 1:1, the beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, Son of God. 10:45, for even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. We'll let those verses direct our studies in Mark. Before the passage we're in, Mark chapter 5, starting in verse 14, the disciples had quite the crazy day already. Jesus teaching the parables, choosing the 12. Well, no, that might not have been in the same day. But after all the parables of the sower seed, mustard seed, Jesus calms the storm. Then a man or two men we know from the other gospels, demon possessed, ran at the disciples and Jesus. And Jesus had just cast out the demon of this one called Legion, because there was thousands and thousands of demons possessing this man. So with that, we'll jump into the passage that we're in, Mark chapter 5, verse 14 to 20. And we'll just kind of study and see how much we get through it. No rush. We're just trying to get through this. And we have next week too, Monday at least. We'll move Tuesday for next week because just other plans. But Monday, maybe Wednesday, then Thursday, then Friday if time allows. All right. Mark 5, 14 to 20. Can someone read that for us?
And the herdsmen ran away and reported it in the city and in the countryside. And the people came to see what it was that had happened. And they came to Jesus and observed the demon-possessed man sitting down, clothed and in his right mind, and the very man who had the legion. And they became frightened. And those who had seen it recounted to them how this had happened to the demon-possessed man and all about the swine. And they began to plead with him to leave their region. And as he was getting into the boat, the man who had been demon-possessed was pleading with him that he might accompany him. And he said, and he did not let him, but he said to him, go home to your people and report to them the great things the Lord has done for you, and how he had mercy on you. And he went away and began to preach in Decapolis what great things Jesus had done for him, and everyone was marveling.
Let's start in verse 14 and go from there. Observation. And just to give a context for people who maybe haven't seen this in a while. Verse 13, Jesus gave the demons permission to go into the pigs. And coming out, the unclean spirits entered the swine, and the herd rushed down the steep bank into the sea, about 2,000 of them, and they were drowned in the sea. It would probably be good next Saturday to read the whole account of this, because it's been a whole winter for people. So obviously, the herdsmen are scared. 2,000 of their pigs just all ran into the sea and drowned. Any observations, any thoughts?
Well, they ran and reported to the city what had happened, and then all the people started coming out to see what was going on. And when they came, they found the demon-possessed man clothed in his right mind, and he was dressed, because before he was running around naked.
Sounds like they also covered a lot of ground. I mean, it says they went to the city and in the country.
Yeah, the country, yeah.
Wow, I never really saw that part, countryside. They went everywhere.
Yeah.
So a question would be, how did they report it? Was it like the shepherds who saw Jesus?
Talk about like the wise men?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because Jesus is here too.
Can you repeat the question?
So how did they report it?
Oh, how?
Yeah, just was it favorable, unfavorable?
I guess it was unfavorable because they wanted Jesus to leave.
It also said that they were afraid, and then they began to plead with him to depart from their region.
Yeah. What else? What other observations?
No one seemed happy that the man was no longer going to be running around and scaring people. They seemed just the opposite. They didn't care.
Hmm.
They should have been, I guess, rejoicing. To me, if something like that was going on, they should be rejoicing, but they're not.
So the question is, why are they afraid?
What just
I think they're
happened?
baffled by
Mm.
what really happened. What happened? The swine going into the sea and drowning. And I guess it's that Jesus had control of, or possibly control of this. They didn't know how to make it, how to or how to think about it.
Hmm.
How do you find answers to questions like that, to where it doesn't explicitly say why, but how do you go about finding that answer?
Very good. The best place is in the passage itself, in the context. You start from the closest. If you can't find it then you look further and in the letter or in the whole Gospel Mark. And if you can't, then you possibly answer it with the rest of the Bible. But for now, we'll just stay in the passage in Mark.
Like John was saying, what just happened. I mean, this man, who knows how many people he hurt. I mean, he was hurting himself. People were scared of him. He probably murdered people who would come close to him. And then Jesus just sends what was possessing this man. He sends him to these pigs, and then they kill them. The pigs run and commit suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, here's I don't know, just thinking about that, like that's what just happened. So here's this man who is possessed, and again, I don't know how many people he hurt. But yeah, people were afraid of him. Nobody wanted to come close to him. Here comes this man, Jesus, and casts this demon out, and thousands of pigs now go and commit suicide. I don't know, maybe are they scared of what he might do to them, maybe, or
Yeah, could be it.
what he could do.
Would would losing 2000, what was it, sheep, right? Sheep, pigs,
Pigs, yeah.
Pigs.
pigs. That would have been like, I'm guessing that would have been like a big financial blow, or really disruptive to that town or that city. And I don't know, could that be a part of it? Like just the idea, like he's, Jesus, allowed these unclean spirits to basically destroy like a big part of maybe their livelihood, and who knows how disruptive that could have been to their living situation, or I don't know.
So, Amanda, that's how you answer the questions. You just keep making observations, and these seem the most likely. They were afraid of Jesus.
Yeah, I was reading up in verse 3, and it talks about the clean spirit and the unclean spirit, and no one could bind him, not even with chains. And so to think we couldn't bind him, we couldn't do this, and then this guy comes along, and now the demon possessed man is totally fine, and now now all these swine are all dead. If we couldn't tame him, then we should be afraid of this guy who could. And I was thinking that too, Neil. Like 2,000 swine, that's probably a lot of money from them, right? If they're raising swine, it's probably a large chunk of money that they're losing too. Maybe that was their income.
This is a guy who could break chains of iron.
I'm just thinking of, so the herdsmen go and they gather all these people, they report it, and I think what you asked too is it's important. What was like the demeanor, and when they first arrived, I wonder what their intention was, but then now they see this man who is in his right mind, and because it says they observed when they first arrived. That's the first thing they did. They observed the man. And at that point, I'm wondering if maybe were coming to it with an intention of maybe maybe possibly trying to hurt Jesus. But then they observe this man, and instead they just go away. They just tell him to leave.
What I found interesting too was even um he who was demon possessed, he begged Jesus to let me go with you. Like, he
Mhm.
wanted to stay there. He wanted to leave too. He's like, please take me with you. So I thought that was interesting too. He didn't even want to stay there.
Yeah, you kind of see like three different groups pleading with Jesus. You see the unclean spirits pleading to, in the previous passage, pleading to enter the swine. You see the pleading the town people pleading for Jesus to leave their region, and then the demon possessed man pleading that he might follow Jesus. It's just kind of interesting. Different people plead with Jesus for different reasons.
Very good. I've never seen that.
I didn't see it either.
Mhm.
When you just read verse 16, you don't know like if these people are they sharing the gospel or are they sharing like bad news? Because imagine if they were excited at and happy that someone was able to cast out demons.
Well, there certainly wasn't any rejoicing.
Yeah.
They wanted Jesus to leave, and they were what's his name? Neil said they were thinking about the swine.
Mhm.
They were more concerned about the swine than they were about the demon possessed man.
Yeah, when you read verse 16, it talks about the man, then it talks all about the swine. So maybe the focus was more on the swine than what happened to the man. It seems more focus was on the pigs, what happened to the pigs, than what happened to the man.
Hmm.
At least I know it's italicized, but there must be a reason why. How this had happened to the demon possessed man, and all about the swine. It's like, oh, the demon, the man cast out the demons, and then all the pigs started running and going crazy and jumped into the water and drowned, and then we lost all our pigs.
Yeah, how a message is delivered is really important too, right? Be like super excited. Oh my gosh, remember that guy? And look at now he's doing great. Yeah, some pigs died, but oh my gosh, look at he's fine now. It probably wasn't like that. It was like, oh my gosh, remember that guy we couldn't tame? Some guy showed up and now he's fine, but now all these, the delivery of a message.
Pigs are gone.
Yeah.
The unclean pigs are gone.
See, that'd be a great illustration showing how you share the way you share the news shows you what is important, right?
Yeah. I remember
Like,
people there's always three perspectives to a story. Your perspective, my perspective, and God's perspective, which is the truth. It's
oh
true.
wow,
Hmm.
that way.
Hmm.
It's like, hey, great sermon. What's for lunch? I'm feeling like Thai food. And you start talking about the food.
Oh, okay. Well, just did a 45-minute sermon on how good God is, but okay.
Yeah, but oh man, I feel like fried chicken. Not taking shots there. Cool. These will be helpful illustrations for next Saturday. So, how you tell a story, or it's how you give news, tell news.
They always tell us as interpreters to pay attention how people speak because you may be saying one thing, but how you're saying it can completely negate everything that you're saying, or can be insinuating something, or you can be inferring something. And the deaf people can't hear that. And so we have to include, that's why people include facial expressions or like, hey, like this is what he's really meaning, we have to include all that in there because, right, if it's just a straight message, it's like, why did they say that? Or that doesn't make any sense. You're like, okay, yeah, but when you include your facial expressions and showing, it makes the message more clear. So listening to intent and listening to how something is said is important because it can completely influence the message that's being said. So
Yeah. Speaking of that, how was your test this week?
I don't know. I was so nervous.
Oh,
I think if I would have prepped more, I think I would have been good. But I don't know. I was just nervous all morning, thinking and being distracted, and then yeah, I had a headache. And
Oh.
well, I can just postpone it, or my head was hurting so much, my stomach was hurting, so I didn't want. And I was like, I need to eat, and I have a test coming up. So thankfully, I went for a walk. I calmed down, prayed, took some water, and went back into the office. And there was other interpreters there, so I was able to chat with them, and that helped calm me down. So
Mhm.
stomach's ready to eat. Let's eat. Ate real quick, and then boom, I took my test. So I think I did okay. I could have done better, of course, but right, it's up to the Lord now. So we'll see.
Yes.
When you get the results.
They said in about a month. So
Okay.
like third week of February. So
Wow. Yeah, you prayed. That's most important.
that's prayer too. I was like, please pray for me all. So yeah, we'll see.
Mm. So let's see what else.
So just to reiterate, O is observation. So where it's the 5 W's, right? Who, what, where, when, and why.
Yes. You guys questions, you can make observations. Yeah, you really get into this. You can even observe what's not there. Again, like we said, there's no rejoicing. So you can observe what's not there too.
Okay.
Leave their region. And again, they're in this region. I think I looked at a commentary and it wasn't, do you remember, Jesse? Is it a Gentile or is it a Jewish region? It seems like it was a Jewish region.
It was
So you see, you have these people who kind of are, you could say they're the liberals, they're okay with taking care of unclean pigs now, unlike the religious Jews.
yeah, so it's very likely that there were Jews here who were just, like you said, just non-practicing.
Yeah, that's important to think about too.
Hey, this because you're reading Matthew right now too, right? In Matthew, you remember when Jesus was accused of like people would accuse him of casting out demons by the power of Beelzebul. See that once in Mark, but in Matthew, it's like a reoccurring thing. So I'm wondering if maybe these people have maybe heard that rumor.
Yeah, could be. They could have heard the rumor. Yeah, if you knew there was a man who controlled demons and he was evil, oh man, you'd probably be scared.
Hmm.
We're observing pretty quickly, so I think our skills had improved over the winter. If that's the case, then we could do more work in less time, which means we could do more work.
More chapters.
Yes, our more
No,
than
more text.
no, not in the Bible study. I think it's good to keep it short in the Saturday studies, but we could keep pushing ahead in Mark chapter 2, or helping me with seminaries. But that's pretty amazing, though. Just keep seeing how our skills improve. It's a joy to see. What about 18? Actually, the people didn't even, at least in 17, they didn't plead with the demoniac to leave their region. It's almost as if they just kind of forgot about this guy. Like now that he's back looking like a normal person, it's like, okay, we don't have to worry about him, but we got to worry about the other guy.
They completely missed the miracle.
Hmm.
Yes. Whoa, that's it right there. They missed the miracle. That's a good statement. They missed the miracle.
Trying to think how you can relate that. And then now they're dismissing the miracle worker. They're completely dismissing the miracle worker now.
Yeah,
And they began
right.
to plead.
It's a good observation. Yeah, I like how you said it the second time better, Amanda, because I don't know if they missed it, because clearly it was they saw what happened and it frightened them.
Mm-hmm.
So the miracle frightened them, and every time Jesus has performed miracles, people are always like astonished. Even the disciples in the one of the previous passages when he was in the ocean or in the sea, there was that storm, and they were afraid.
Mm-hmm.
If these people weren't religious, then it could have been more secular. Try thinking from a perspective where you don't believe in miracles. Like if we're trying to explain today, hey, the man was just psychologically deranged, and this psychologist helped him get better. That's great, but then you can't explain why the pigs ran into the sea.
And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. It's like, hey, remember this guy? Um, well, now he's fine, but this guy over here caused our pigs to whatever this guy had, now our pigs have it, and they kill themselves.
Mhm.
COVID-19 or a pig COVID,
So swine flu.
swine flu. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think even thinking about it psychologically, it's like, um, yeah, I keep kind of thinking also of the disciples back in the storm and in the sea when they were like, "Who then is this man? Who really is this man?" And maybe possibly these people like here saying like, "Who is this individual who can cause our pigs to just like run off like that? Like, who is this person that can heal this man or make him right or fix him?" Yeah,
That's
because
good. Go
yeah,
ahead.
because the people who I mean, they heard the story. They explained it. They came to Jesus and observed. This is verse 15. They came to Jesus and observed the man who had been demon possessed, sitting down, clothed and in his right mind. Verse 16. Those who had seen it described to them how it happened. So they heard the story. So clearly, what was it that happened? The demons are having a conversation with Jesus, pleading with him, like, please send us into the swine. Jesus allows it to happen. So yeah, these people are explaining what happened.
Hey, now thinking about it, Jesus, he has already been ministering for over a year and a year and a half. So the people in this region would have known about him. But if you think about it, then maybe they didn't go see him. Like they didn't care that he was doing miracles. Or maybe when they heard the news and rumors about Jesus, they just thought, oh, there's no such thing as miracles. So we're not gonna go. We don't care. We don't care what message this guy has.
So I was going back to see where he was before he arrived there.
Mhm.
Back in, this is Mark 3. Was it Mark 3 I read it?
Hmm.
Mark 3:7. But Jesus withdrew from his disciples to the sea, and a great multitude from Galilee followed him, and from Judea and Jerusalem and Idumea and beyond the Jordan. Those people were willing to go, but these people from Gadara, like you said, weren't. They weren't
Yep.
willing to do that.
Yeah. I see you have a map in front of you.
Yeah, I'm very visual, so I'm trying to see where is this place that he's talking about. But so the Geradeans live in
This is
Gadara.
the other side of the sea. So
Mm-hmm. Because it says that he went on the other side, right?
yeah.
Trying to see where was he at, and then where did he go, and then where did he go back to?
Yeah, was it farther than all those other cities listed in chapter 3?
Sea of Galilee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Here's Gadara. Judea is like all the way down here.
Whoa.
Judea is all the way down here. They went all the way up to the Sea of Galilee to hear him. These people right across the sea didn't go across. So people were down
Mm.
today, I heard about him. Yeah.
Geography helps a lot.
Yeah, I noticed I've been doing that recently since going to the studies and reading other books. I'm like trying to visualize where all this stuff is at, and it makes more sense with this. It helps with the context. So,
Yeah, again, most often like Nazareth, the city that rejected Jesus, even though it was his hometown. Sometimes it seems the closest people are the ones who don't care.
You kind of see a lot of the things that Jesus talks about in chapter 4 coming to fruition, like talks about parable of the sowers, rocky soil, thorny soil,
Wow.
deceitfulness of riches, choking the word and becomes unfruitful. Um, verse 20 in chapter 4, verse 25, for whoever has to him more shall be given, and whoever does not have even what he has shall be taken away from him. And
Mhm.
like Jesus sadly kind of gives the people what they want when they plead like to leave, but it's really condemnation because they weren't willing to hear.
Very good. Sometimes we could study so much that we're so focused on the tree that we miss the forest. That's a good reminder. Looking at the other chapters and the geography, those are things that I could strengthen, and especially looking at maps.
so that reminds me of a prayer. Sorry, I was speaking to my mom. Just a prayer for me about right where to go to church. Um, I've been really enjoying Grace. Been really enjoying it. and I've been
Mhm.
growing, and hearing that reminded me, like, sorry to Neil to skip over. I didn't mean to skip over what you were saying. It just reminded me to just ask for prayer again, what the Lord wants for what his will is for my life, because I just got reminded right now of those people from Judea were willing to go over there that far to hear from Jesus, yet the people across sea were not willing to. It reminded me, how far am I willing to go? How far am I willing to travel to hear the truth and sound doctrine? So please continue to keep me in prayer on what the Lord wants me to do and where to go. Thank you.
We'll keep praying for wisdom.
Thank you.
Though in this case, there is truth close to you. So,
Yeah, no, yeah, there is. It's a different level at Grace.
I understand.
What's the
Yeah.
other church? If you don't mind me asking.
Calvary Chapel, Laverne. I like it. I've learned there the past 8 years that I've been there, but
Mm.
it's a different level at Grace Church or Grace Community. So
Mm.
I've been learning and growing, even going to Pasadena, these Zoom studies.
Where do you live?
I live in Pomona. And the drive to Grace feels like it's getting shorter and shorter. And it's nice drives every Sunday morning coming back. So the Lord's working, but I want his will to be done, not mine.
So, Rich, these illustrations help understand the truth better. Oh, I see it's almost 9 p.m. So we'll get ready to wrap up for tonight. Any final
That was
thoughts?
fast.
Yeah, just an hour. So it's shorter, but we'll have multiple nights next week. So Monday we'll meet at 7:15. Wednesday, if I can, then 8 p.m. Thursday, 8 p.m. And again, if I can, Friday, I'll email y'all. Let's close in prayer. And I could stay to fellowship, so if people want to stay and hang out too. Our Father in heaven, thank you for the joy it is to dive back into the Gospel of Mark and seeing already the riches in this passage. Just seeing how the people respond to your Son, Jesus Christ, how the same is happening today. And for us too, to be able to see the wonders of our Lord, and yet no matter how good, no matter how glorious he shows himself to be, there will be others who reject it. Father, help us to not be those who reject you, but to instead cling on to your truth, to like this demoniac who's no longer a demoniac, to cling to you and say, I want to be with you, Jesus, wherever you go. So Father, strengthen my brothers and sisters for your work. And would you continue to be with us the rest of this evening for your glory. We pray and we ask all this in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.